presentation, and we're going to do so. This is asking questions in a business meeting. So, if you are someone who gets nervous, especially when it comes to asking questions in a meeting, I want you to know that you are not alone. Okay. Even native speakers get nervous in business meetings. And it can be even more daunting and difficult. Oh, hi, Unyang. We have another member. Nice to see you. Are you in Singapore or are you back in Korea? I don't remember. I think you're still in Singapore, if I remember correctly. So, um, sorry, I just got distracted. Let me get back to the the the, the presentation here. So, as I was saying, if you get nervous in a meeting, especially if it's in English, you're not the only one. We all do. I mean, I've been there in so many business meetings. When you're first starting out, it can be really daunting, especially if English is not your first language. So, but I have to say, it's still an essential part of communication. It helps you to get to know your clients better. You build relationships. You get a deeper knowledge of your colleagues, your clients, your partners. Everybody gets to know each other better. So, what I'm talking about today, I'm going to talk about why people avoid asking questions and how you can overcome the challenge of asking questions in meetings. And Young just got back yesterday, so welcome back to Korea. Nice to see you back in Korea. Moving right along here. Okay, so let's start with the first question. Why do people avoid asking questions in English? All right. Well, the first reason that people, uh, I'll get into that, but I mean, there are several reasons why people don't ask questions in English during business meetings. First of all, it could be that they fear sounding unintelligent. Okay, they think, and I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people say, "Well, I don't want to sound like I'm foolish, or I'm afraid if I say something or if I ask a question, my grammar might not be just right, or my pronunciation might not be perfect. So that's going to make me sound unintelligent." And there's a saying from when I was a kid, and people still say it. I think there are no stupid questions. Okay, uh, I know it sounds bad, uh, and I'm sure if you tried hard enough, you could probably find some questions that are stupid, that you might consider stupid. But in reality, the only stupid question is the one that isn't asked. Because if if you fear that you sound unintelligent and you don't understand everything that's being shared, and then you go off and do something else, then you're going to look unintelligent, which is even worse. So I'd rather, so don't worry about that. The next one is the fear of being judged. And this is a big one. Not only do they think they're going to be that they're going to sound unintelligent, they fear that they'll be judged for asking a stupid question. Like I said, there are no stupid questions, um, and that makes them reluctant to ask anything at all. They may lack confidence. If you lack confidence in your English speaking skills because you don't have practice, because you're afraid, because you think you don't have enough vocabulary skills, that can be a real challenge for you overcoming those fears. And of course, there's cultural differences too. This is something that I learned in Korea a long time ago. Depending on what your cultural background, you may have been taught to avoid asking questions or to only speak when you're spoken to. One thing I used to be so surprised about in business meetings here in Korea, everybody looks at the table. Everybody's looking down at the table and not looking at each other. And no one asks questions or no one says anything until it's their turn to speak. Um, I came from the United States, and in the business model in the States, it's very common. You're encouraged to ask questions and walk away with clarity and understanding. So, and we're also encouraged to look at each person when they're talking and pay attention and make a connection there. So there could be cultural differences. Maybe you're taught one way, but if you're doing business in English with Americans, especially, looking people in the eye and asking questions is very, very important. So All right, let's jump into what are the benefits of asking questions. Believe me, there are a lot of good benefits. Oh, we have a couple more people here. Uh, uh, Hyunmin's here. Welcome, welcome, Hyunmin. Okay. So let's get into the benefits of asking questions. Despite all the challenges that we may come up with, asking questions is a key part of communication, and it comes with several benefits. So the first benefit is, oh, we'll just start with show. You'll be able to show your interest in the topic. That's a big deal because by showing people that you're interested in them, this works in regular business meetings, but also in just conversations in general. By asking questions, you show that you're engaged in the conversation, you are part of it, and that you want to learn more. And that's really important, especially when if you're in like a sales meeting or a negotiation or something like that. Um, oh, so young, nice to see you. All right. Also, you can clarify things, clarify any doubts that you might have. If something is not clear, by asking questions, you can help to clarify any doubts. And because, and I'll tell you why this is important. When you feel like you can't ask questions and so you don't, there are almost certainly other people who also feel like they can't ask questions and they don't. And everyone benefits when you ask the question, because if you're not clear on something, someone else is probably also not clear on something. So by you asking the question, you are making it clear for everyone else. You're helping out the whole group. So that's a great thing. Also, provide solutions to problems. Sometimes by asking questions, it can lead to new and innovative solutions to problems. Did you ever have that? We call it brainstorming, just asking questions. And if you don't ask the questions, then maybe somebody doesn't have that brilliant idea, or maybe you don't have that brilliant idea. And that helps you solve the problem. So asking questions can help you find solutions that you didn't even know you could find. Okay. Create strong bonds. Asking questions can help you build stronger relationships with your clients, your colleagues, your partners, because you'll get to know each other. You'll get to know what is important to each other, and it makes a stronger team. Much better than a lot of team building exercises might be, right? Also, and finally, show that you care by asking questions. Okay, it shows that you care about other people's opinions, about other people's concerns, and that is a big deal for a lot of people to be able to say, hey, I care about you. I care about what you think. I care about your opinions. um, Especially if you're a boss, if you are a manager or something like that, by asking questions of your employees, of the people who you manage, it shows that you care about their opinions too. They're not just some slave that has to go run off and do your bidding. And by showing that, you allow them to feel, you just boost their morale, makes them feel better. All right. All right. So now let's wrap this thing up by talking about how to ask questions in a business meeting and throughout life. I mean, this all of these tips will apply anywhere you go. So asking questions during a business meeting, it can be nerve-wracking, it can be stressful, it can be very difficult, but the more you practice it, the more easy it will become. So here's some tips to help you start asking questions confidently. Okay. So when you start with basic, broad questions. Okay. You want to show that you're interested in the topic being discussed. So, for example, you don't want to ask like every little small little detail, or ask about some small detail. Start with something broad, like what is the goal for this project? Something like that. What is our desire? What's our desired outcome? You know, those kind of broad questions. The next one, listen. Listen. This is going to help you with your communication skills as well by actively listening. So you're listening, you're taking notes, and you're speaking eye to eye to the person that you're meeting with. Try to understand the message that they are conveying. This will also probably give you more questions. If you are listening actively, you might have, I mean, the question may be simple, like, I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat it? That's pretty simple. Or it could be a specific thing about what they said. What did you mean when you said ABC? Okay. Uh, that gets me to the next one, asking follow-up questions. If something's not clear, ask follow-up questions. That way you can clarify any doubts that you might have. It that comes back to that whole thing about clarifying things for everyone else as well as yourself. Okay. Now, get specific. I normally tell people don't ask closed-ended questions because they are conversation killers. But in a meeting or in a sales presentation or something like that, sometimes it is best to ask a closed-ended question. What a closed-ended question. I also call closed-ended questions single answer questions because they are questions that require a simple yes or no answer. So normally I don't like those because they kill conversations. But if you're making a sales pitch, if you are in a meeting and you want a specific answer, hit yes or no. Still need the confidence will come, Young. The confidence will come the more you practice. The more you practice, really, that is the key. And finally, keep the tone light. Be mindful of your body language. What do I mean by keep the tone light? When you're really serious in a meeting, it brings the whole feeling in the meeting down. So you want to keep the tone light. Be friendly. Be approachable. Make it so that people can ask you questions as well, and also be mindful of your body language. Here's a quick question. Let's see if anybody knows the answer. How much of your communication in a presentation or in a meeting, how much of your communication is strictly verbal? I mean, how much of the understanding that the audience gets is strictly verbal? Anybody? Anybody? Nobody knows? All right. Well, it's a surprising figure. If you just think about the words that are coming out of your mouth and how people understand what you're saying, the words are only about 7% of what people understand. Majority, more than 50% of your communication is in your facial expressions and your body language. How much are you using your hands? So if you're standing there with your shoulders crossed and your sourpuss on your face, like that, guess what? You're not really going to be portraying the message that people want to get. So make sure that the words that you say match what's on your face. Okay. Keep the tone light and be mindful of your facial expressions and your body language. All right. And that is really all there is to it. I hope you enjoyed this clip from my live show. If you like this video and learned something, be sure to subscribe and tune in every Saturday for All About English Live. And to learn more tips for your business level English, check out this video right over here.